my Tech Specialist channel. If you're new or haven't subscribed, now is a great time to do it. This is part 2 of my quest to find the writing tools to help writers get into the flow of writing. Recently, a friend of mine said he was interested in finding out how a typewriter would be helpful in writing screenplays. I told him he could come over and try a few in my collection. He was surprised to see I had set up every one of my typewriters. He was a little overwhelmed. I had to teach him, first of all, that although many of these were ancient, he didn't have to treat them like they were made of glass. After trying them out, he said he was more confused than ever and left, still confused. It's been a couple of months, and I don't think he has made a choice to leave or supplement his MacBook Air yet. So the question anyone interested in writing with a typewriter needs to ask is twofold. What is it like to write on a manual typewriter, as opposed to a computer keyboard? And will this enhance or disrupt the writing flow? So far, I've done a couple of videos about creating writing with a typewriter. I bought and tested all the typewriters I could find around here for cheap and recorded my impressions of them using objective measurements as well as getting subjective impressions of just typing on them and seeing if they were enjoyable to type on. Some of them I bought, tested, and sold before it occurred to me to take measurements. For these, I have recorded reference video of typing on them so you, as a viewer, can see them in action. After measuring and typing on lots of manual typewriters, there are 3 that have stood out above the rest. But before we talk about them, I'd like to say something about manual typewriters. A typewriter is to writing what a vintage car is to driving. Each person has personal preferences on what works for them. Once again, the important thing is to just get writing. It is a matter of being free to choose what matters for your best flow. Millions of people have successfully written papers, stories, books, and so much more on all kinds of typewriters. What works best for each person differs wildly. For some people, punching the keys is more satisfying than lightly tapping them. Manual typewriters definitely require more than lightly tapping. They require strength and vitality. The typewriter manufacturers of the 19th and 20th centuries aspired to produce reliability, durability, and finally, comfort. These now charming machines challenge writers to develop a flow state that includes punching the keys, keeping hands floating above them, and a left hand ready to smack the carriage back after every line like a rocket. So, after measuring and testing as many typewriters as I could, I thought, why not have my own Olympic typing event for the best manual typewriter of all? For all of you watching this, especially those who already have favorite typewriters, I'm not trying to contradict what you like. But for those who are trying to figure it out, this may help you find what you're looking for. There are hundreds of machine models, and whichever one you find and use, more power to you. And good luck on your writing. For me, I've chosen my 3 winners. But first, before they step up to the podium, I don't want to forget the also-rans. In 8th place, the Royal Quiet Deluxe is older and feels more sturdy than many later models. The actuation force is a little higher. The keys are concave, but more of a circular rather than an elliptical form, which isn't my preference. Its appearance is drab at first, but it has a classic 1930s style that is appealing. With this particular model, I didn't feel comfortable with typing a long time, though I could certainly get used to it, I'm sure. It seemed to have more issues just typing. It may be it needs more repair, more maintenance, I don't know. However, it's capable and finishes the race every time. In 7th place, the Royal All-American, a blue and white portable. I love the feel of the keys, how concave they are. The actuation force is pretty common. My particular model doesn't feel very comfortable to type on for a long time, though I could get used to it if I needed to. It seems to have more issues just typing. However, it is quite capable and is very nice to look at. In 6th place, despite its name, the Underwood Champion didn't finish first. When I first typed on it, still in its case, I noticed the shallowness of the key concavity. Its key actuation was stiff and it had a push-up carriage, which made things harder as I typed. This takes some getting used to. Maybe some gym exercises for my pinky fingers? Being a portable, the carriage is just wide enough for a piece of paper, no more. The keys require lots of force, though it is a solid mechanism. In my test paragraph, I had 15 mistakes out of 115 words. 11 of those were from not hitting the keys hard enough to make it dark enough on the page. Setting the tabs was innovative for the time, but not particularly intuitive. The carriage lever is really small, and I expect a larger one, which probably has to do with me learning how to type on a standard Olympia typewriter, which does have a larger one. Because of its solid feel and consistent key force, as well as its shorter travel for the keys, the Underwood Champion is an excellent machine, a pleasure to type on, notwithstanding the circular concavity of the keys. In 5th place, the Olympia SG3, the 1965 version, is really a stunningly good-looking typewriter. Easy tab sets, excellent concave keys, solid feel, not particularly loud, with 15mm key travel, it's a good machine for typing. What sets it apart is its 300-gram actuation force for the keys and a taller rise on the rows of the keys. Keeping these last two things in mind, I found myself committing 28 mistakes per 115 words. While this is a solid machine, my flow wants a lighter touch, so it didn't finish higher in the Olympics for me. In 4th place, the Underwood Typemaster 2. I've owned 2 examples of this model typewriter. It's a standard model, built for longevity, precision, and consistency. The first one here was attached to my typewriter desk, which put it at an optimum height for typing. This one had the covers on the ribbon spools, which my later one did not. Key travel is the standard amount, about 16mm, and the keys are rather flat, only slightly concave. Setting tabs, margins, and the like are easy. I noticed the carriage return is solid and satisfying when you return it. I also notice how easy it is to keep typing on it, with only 12 mistakes out of 115 words. It also seems easier to type on, with an actuation force of the keys of 171 grams. What sets this apart from me was the key concavity. I do prefer a deeper well on each key. Before I talk about my medal winners, I'd like to talk about what characteristics manual typewriters have. 1. They are harder to press on the keys than electric keyboards. 2. They are usually loud, 70 decibels, compared to a silent computer keyboard clocking in at 14. Although many of these typewriters were billed as silent, your ears hear the truth. 3. They are heavy. Even the portable ones are 10 to 15 pounds. Standard ones are even 40 or more. 4. They are slower to type on. Keys get stuck together. That's the reason for the QWERTY keyboard in the first place, distribute the letters. 5. They require more precision. You must hit the right key or you'll pay for it, with an error on the page that's hard to remove. 6. The key travel is much longer. 15mm as compared to 5 or even 1 for some of the chiclet keyboards. 7. They are very distraction-free. 8. They are unforgiving. If you don't care about mistakes, this won't matter to you. 9. They have charm. They have character. They're just cool now. 10. They will last longer than any electronic device you have. They were built to last out of long-lasting materials. Many are already over 100 years old and still function perfectly. While all of these are important, the ones that affect my writing the most are how loud they are and how easy they are to type on. I can even ignore most of the click-clack noise, but if the typing experience is a distraction and I'm having to think about the typing, it's a no-go for me. If that's different for you, I'd love to have you put something in the comments below. And now, third place, the bronze medal goes to the Royal FPE, which replaces the Typemaster 2 in my typewriter desk. When I was typing on it, I first noticed the keys. They are concave, but not too deep. The whole typewriter is solid, especially after attaching it to my desk with screws. It is easy to type on with an actuation force of 255 grams, and travel time is 16 millimeters, which is average, I guess. Of course, tabs, carriage returns, and type keys are solid. I didn't mind the sound of the keys hitting the platen. Actually, the rhythm of the keys seems to encourage me to keep writing. Always a plus. The only drawback is that it is so heavy that moving from place to place in the house is a pain. I guess I shouldn't judge it for not being portable when it isn't made to be a portable. For all these reasons, I decided to keep the Royal FPE forever in my typing desk, ready to type when inspiration hits me. In second place, getting a silver medal, is the Smith Corona Silent Super. I had a really hard time deciding between second and first place typewriters. There is so much to love about the Silent Super. First, there is a number 1 key. That I love. Second, the typing action is so smooth, the carriage return is solid, the return bar is longer than expected for a portable, it is solid to type on, the tabs are intuitive to set, the color grows on me, and the racing stripes on top are both artistic and exciting. The rise in the key rows seems to be nearly perfect. The actuation force is 230 grams and the key travel is 14 millimeters, just the right amount. Finally, the typewritten copy looks great. I can see myself 100 years ago writing stories for newspapers in Paris or in Colorado Springs on a ranch, typing on one of these things. This typewriter just makes me feel like writing. First place and the gold medal goes to the much heralded Hermes 3000 portable. I found this particular Hermes 3000 at a thrift store. I'm not sure, but I think it was badly and quickly painted as a prop. If I close my eyes, I can pretend it is seafoam green, which it used to be. With this typewriter's keys, they seem to have the right actuation force, 272 grams, the right key travel, 15 millimeters, and the right concavity. What has put it in first place for me was the feel of the key assembly that makes the keys feel a certain springiness that is similar to the Silent Super but closer to perfection in the 3000. It feels to me like a pair of shoes that feel perfectly formed to my foot so that breaking them in isn't even necessary. Even though this particular model has been uglified, it still types beautifully. It is, for me, the champion manual typewriter. So, these are my choices based on what I'm expecting as I write. Contrary views are definitely expected. Tell me in the comments which of all the typewriters there are is your favorite. What works for you? I'm curious to know. Thanks for watching.